All right, mate, how you doing? Welcome back to another video. The World Cup is over. Lionel Messi is holding this trophy right now as I record this. Argentina captain. What a tournament he had, and what a tournament Argentina have had. Well done to them for winning the World Cup. In this video, we're going to react to my World Cup predictions. No, not that prediction. I made this one before the game, and I said that Argentina are going to win on extra time. I was nearly right. They won it on penalties, but we're talking about the predictions I made before the World Cup started. You guys have seen them on the channel already. Let's see how I did. So pretty simple. We're going to start off by looking at the group stage, seeing how many of them I got exactly right and whatnot. Starting off with Group A, I got this exactly right. Not the hardest one to call. I'm not going to give myself too many credits for this, but I did say Netherlands to go through. I said Senegal to finish second, and I said Qatar to finish bottom. Ecuador nearly squeezed out, to be fair, but Group A, so far so good, 100%. Well done, Spendog. Group B, I got 50% right, in the sense of I got both the teams that are going out the group right, and I think that's the most important bit, really. But I got the 2, 3rd and 4th places the other way around. Maybe a little bit of UK biased. I had Wales to finish 3rd, maybe underappreciated what Iran brought to the table. They didn't look great when they played England, but I did think they'd get points of other teams, and I was right about that ultimately in the end. But I got them wrong. I said they were going to finish 4th. So half the teams right, but the 2 ones that matter were right. 1st and 2nd, England, USA, not bad. Group C, continuing pretty good again, 100% correct. Argentina to win the group. That was an easy shout, even with Saudi Arabia beating them in the first game. Poland, Mexico was a toss-up for me. I went with Poland, and I honestly said on the video, I'm going with it because my son is technically a quarter Polish. So that's what made me make that decision. But it was right. So we go with that. Mexico 3rd, Saudi Arabia 4th, despite getting that epic win. I think they basically just blew all of their energy in that Argentina game. They got their Rolls Royces from the King of Saudi Arabia. They got their national holiday, and they were done. Although, having said that, they are the only team that has beaten Argentina in the last 41 games. That's pretty good from Saudi Arabia. We've got to give them the kudos they deserve, even though they did finish bottom of the group. Group D, it's the first time I got a team coming out of the group wrong. I thought France and Denmark were going to get out of the group. I don't think that was a particularly brave shout with me. In fact, I got a bit of stick in the comments in general for my predictions for them being a bit safe. Some people thought Denmark would win the group, to be honest, because they had a really good international record. They'd beaten France twice in the Nations League. I went with them second. They ended up finished 4th. That was a real disappointment. The first real big disappointment of the World Cup groups that we've seen so far. There's a few more to come. Australia surprised a lot of people by finishing second. I had Tunisia to finish bottom. I had Australia 3rd, and I had Denmark to come second. Group E was another 50%. I got half them right, but it's the first time I got the group winner wrong. I had Germany to win this group, and that was, they were very disappointing, let's be honest. They didn't get out the group at all. I had Spain to finish second, which they did, but I definitely didn't have Japan to win the group, and I'd love to know who in their predictions video did, if anyone. Japan, very well done. Big surprise of the tournament for them to do that in that group. At one point, Japan and Costa Rica were both going to get out the group and go through, and Spain and Germany were both going to go. That was crazy, but Spain did get through in the end. So I had 2nd place right in this group with Spain. I had 4th place with Costa Rica correct, but I had 1st and 3rd wrong with Germany and Japan in each other's spots. Now, the next group is Group F, and this is my worst group of the predictions. I only had one team in the right position, and I got the group winners wrong. Again, I think this is an easy mistake to make. A lot of people would have backed Belgium to do better. I had them to win the group. They definitely didn't win the group. They finished 3rd. I had Croatia 2nd, which was correct, of course. Canada, Morocco, in hindsight, I could have gone the other way around with this. I'd say this is my first big mare, and the mare is not getting Belgium to win the group, because I think a lot of people would have made that mistake. The mare is not putting Morocco through because of how good they were. They caught me off guard. I'm not going to lie. I'm not going to sit here and pretend I had loads of prior knowledge about Morocco. I just got that one wrong. Canada, I think, were unlucky to finish 3rd. I actually think they were better than Belgium. Even in the game they played against each other, and they were unlucky to lose that one. I think if football was more just, Belgium would have actually finished bottom of the group. So I feel a bit sorry for Canadians to leave this World Cup with 0 points. I had them to finish 3rd. They finished bottom. But it's only Croatia I got right in this group. And I want to apologise to the Moroccans out there for getting this one wrong. Croatia, though, I did have to go through. Group G is a return to form, 100% correct in Group G. Well done, Spain. And this was one I got a lot of stick for, by the way, because when I had Brazil to win the group, but I put Serbia bottom, people came for me in the comments, right? We'll show you some of the comments right now on the screen. People said I was a mug. People said I had no ball knowledge, because Serbia have looked very good pre-tournament in the run-up to the World Cup in the last few years in general. They've got a very good squad. For whatever reason, I'm not going to sit here and say I can explain it, but I just didn't fancy them. I've watched them play a lot of tournaments, and I just didn't fancy them. And I was right. I had them finishing bottom. They finished bottom. I had the whole group completely right. So I want to see apologies in the comments from all the people who mugged me off for having Serbia to finish bottom, please. And then Switzerland and Cameroon, I did back Switzerland because they are traditionally pretty good at tournaments. I think they traditionally do a little bit better than their actual quality of their squad suggests. So I had them finishing second, and that was right. The whole group was right. Finally, Group H, this was another 50%er. I got the group winners right. Portugal, I got the bottom place team. Ghana, correct. I had Uruguay and South Korea in the wrong positions. I think that's an easy mistake to make. To be honest, I can live with that one. And I can live with my predictions in general. Yes, they might have been a bit safe, but I was trying to get a good prediction outcome here. I wasn't trying to get clickbait or reactions just for the sake of it. I said what I thought would happen. In total, I got 3 of 8 groups completely right. More importantly, I got 12 of 16 teams correct that progressed from the group. The 4 I got wrong that I didn't have getting out the group that surprised me was Australia, Morocco, Japan, and South Korea. All non-European teams, and I obviously didn't give them the credit they deserve. So I apologise to those 4 teams, but 12 out of 16 is, I would say, about the minimum acceptable. It's fairly easy to predict a lot of them, so I would have been disappointed with less than 12, and I don't think I deserve loads of credit. I think it's okay. Now, moving into the last 16. Now, this isn't bad for me. Considering I got 4 of the last 16 wrong, I got 6 of the right 8 winners to go through. So that's not bad. That's like 75%, which is the exact same ratio I got in the group stage in terms of getting 12 out of 16. 6 of 8 is the same consistent ratio, but it's harder because you've got less teams that are actually in the tournament. So the ones I got wrong at this stage, I had Spain to progress through the last 16 into the quarterfinals. It was actually Morocco that progressed there, of course. I had Germany progressing, but it was Croatia who progressed. Germany didn't even make it out the groups, but I didn't have Croatia getting past that point. That was it, though. So it's just Croatia and Morocco that got through past the last 16. The other 6 was bang on. This is where the percentage drops a little bit, but it's understandable as to why when there's less teams that I thought would get this far, even still in the tournament. I got 50% right at the quarterfinals, 2 of the 4 correct. I had Argentina progressing, I had France progressing, but I had Brazil progressing and I had Portugal progressing, when in fact it was Croatia and Morocco. Again, I'd be amazed if many people predicted Croatia and Morocco to do that well. You know, I think they deserve a lot of credit. Again, Croatia, that what they've done over the last 2 World Cups is crazy, especially when you consider the size of their country. And a massive well done to Morocco getting to the semi-finals, the first team from Africa to ever do that. I didn't see it coming. I'm happy to hold my hand up there. I think people that gave me stick for my predictions didn't think it was going to be these 2 that did better. I don't think many people thought Croatia were even going to do that well this tournament. I think they saw their team as aging. I was actually considering not even backing them to get out of the group at one point, but I obviously did. I think the other countries people tipped in this tournament that didn't do well were the likes of Serbia. I think a lot of people were liking Denmark as well, but they didn't progress. They didn't do what people were saying. So I don't know how many people would have backed these predictions, to be honest. And it's worth pointing out at the quarterfinal moment is where I had England exiting. I predicted England to beat Senegal in the last 16 and lose to France in the quarterfinals. So from an England perspective, I was completely right. So I don't want to hear any allegations of England tinted spectacles or me being biased or anything like that. I got my own country completely right. And it does, I don't want to make this a whole Southgate thing, although the news is out that he's going to stay as England manager. I'm quite happy about that. But it does prove my point when I say I think that's about what we were expected to do. People can argue me on that and say that they think we're better than that, we've got the best squad or the most deep squad and we should win the World Cup. I just don't believe it. I just don't buy into that personally. I think based on the draw that we were always likely to have, which was always going to end up with us playing France, most likely, which it did, we were probably going to lose that game. I think we did ourselves proud in that game and we could have won it easily. I think that game was played 10 times. We win 6 or 7 of them. However, it did follow my prediction because I think that's about where we are. We played the world champions, the previous world champions now, and we lost narrowly. You know, if Kane's penalty had gone in, who knows what would have happened. But France have proved their quality. They've only lost the World Cup final and not gone back-to-back on penalties. And I think that's about right. I don't think, even with the injuries they've got, I don't think anyone that says that we're one of the best few teams in the world is right. I think they're a bit deluded and entitled. That's my bit on England done. Moving into the semi-finals. Now, I had France making it to the final. I backed the right horse or cockerel in that department, but I had Brazil beating Argentina in the other semi-final. Now, Brazil didn't even get this far, obviously, and Argentina did progress past Croatia. So I got that one wrong. 1 of 2 in the final. Even though I got the winner wrong, I backed Brazil to win the World Cup. I kind of got it right in the sense of I thought France were going to lose the final. Now, I'm not trying to take credit for this because I didn't predict Argentina to win, but I kind of did if you listen to this clip. Even though I like the look of Brazil or Argentina, and I think if Argentina overcome Brazil in the semi-final, I think they'd beat France in the final. The winner will be Brazil or Argentina is what I'm saying. Yes, that's right. I said whoever wins out of Brazil and Argentina is going to win the World Cup. I didn't say if Brazil don't win the World Cup, France will. I quite clearly backed France to lose the final. I said I thought Brazil and Argentina were going to play each other, and I said whoever wins that wins the World Cup. Now, they never had to play each other, and Argentina progressed. So technically, you would say my second prediction to win was Argentina, but I didn't get the first one right. I'll hold that. I'll wear that. I said Brazil would do it, and they didn't. They were the pre-tournament favourites, and they didn't win it. And at this point, as we've finished the tournament now, we can go through the major categories that I had predicted and how right they were, because I also predicted things like top goal scorer and all that stuff. So obviously I had Brazil to win. We've already talked about that. Got that wrong, although I did sort of back Argentina. Dark horse, I said Netherlands. Now, what's interesting about this, I think you could have argued they needed to go a little bit further to really be looked at as a dark horse. However, I did predict them to lose to Argentina. So I was sort of saying, look, they could surprise people. Maybe you could argue I was hedging my bets a little bit because I was sort of saying they're going to be a dark horse, but they're also going to lose to Argentina. So if they had to beat Argentina, my dark horse bet would have come in. But I didn't ultimately back Argentina. So look, I'm not sure how I feel about that one. I think probably objectively to be a dark horse from a country the size of Netherlands, you needed to get a bit further than the quarterfinals. Denmark, though, I had as my surprise. This was a stinker. This was a real stinker here. They did surprise me in the fact they were rubbish. They just didn't get going. I thought they were going to be really kind of motivated by the Christian Eriksen return and the experience they had in the Euros where they were really good. And their form in general wasn't just about the Euros. They've been one of the best nations statistically in the last few years. Barely lost a game, but they came into this World Cup just not on song. And I think that says a lot, you know. Even though Argentina had been really good coming into this, they lost that first game. Not the first time a World Cup winner has lost a game in the group stage. Happened recently, 2010. Spain lost to Switzerland in the group stage, ended up winning that World Cup. Some could even argue losing your first group stage could be a good thing because it basically makes it knockout football for the rest of the tournament from there on in. You kind of need to win every game, including your last two group stages, to win the World Cup. So it worked for Argentina at least, but Denmark, very disappointed with that one. Now, best player, I said Vinicius Jr. I'm obviously going to back a player from the country that wins the World Cup. If I predicted Brazil, I'm going to go Vinicius or someone else from Brazil. In hindsight, obviously we didn't see Brazil go the distance to the tournament. If they had won the World Cup, I think the way it was going, you were looking at a Richarlison or maybe a Casemiro win for player of the tournament. But who knows what would have happened in those latter games. Maybe Neymar would have stepped up. He missed a lot of the tournament for injury. Maybe I'd been right. Vinicius Jr. did have some very good moments. So I'm not angry with that one because I backed Brazil. If I was backing Argentina, I obviously would have said Messi. And I think that's proven in my top goal scorer shout. Young player is a stinker in many ways. I said Saliba. I fancied him to play. I didn't know if he was going to play. I did do a little bit of research. There was a lot of talk about him playing. France's centre-backs, you could have kind of interchanged any of them. They did swap out Upamecano for Konate a couple of times. Some would say Konate came in at times and was better, though Upamecano did make a massive, potentially goal-saving tackle at the end of the World Cup final. But Saliba didn't play. I think I can't say it's a shame or a waste because France did pretty well, but who knows? Maybe if he'd played, they would have seen it over the line, not conceded all those goals in the World Cup final. Equally, if I said if Saliba doesn't play, I was going to go Camavinga. He also didn't really play. Substitute appearances, played left back in the third game. So I have to sort of wear that one. Obviously, it's gone to Enzo Fernandez. I didn't really consider him on my list. He didn't start the first World Cup game, but he obviously did grow into the Argentina team and he turned it around after the Saudi Arabia loss. So maybe I was looking at it and didn't think he'd play because he didn't start that first game, but I didn't really mention him. Bellingham was fantastic and he would have been in the race if England had got further for sure, but he didn't, and I said Saliba and I was wrong. And then Golden Boot, I said Messi, who had it at one point, and Mbappe nicks Jeff Hurst's record of being the only person to score a hat-trick in the World Cup final. He does the same thing, and he gets it by one goal. And fair play to Mbappe. I think I'm actually glad that he did, because it stopped an overall Messi haul. Messi ended up getting the Golden Ball, which is the player of the tournament, obviously, as well as being the captain of the World Cup winning team, Argentina. I think Mbappe had to be recognised because he was fantastic. And it's a real Golden Boot. Like, I don't want to mug off Harry Kane, but when he got the Golden Boot in 2018, a lot of people felt it was like not a proper Golden Boot. You know, like he had some weak goals, scored a hat-trick against Panama, I think, as penalties and things like that. Mbappe's goals were all big, important goals, some great goals in there. Yes, a few penalties, but it's a very worthy Golden Boot winner. Also, 8 goals is no joke at a World Cup. That's a significant amount of goals from Mbappe. So overall, how have I done? I would probably say maybe slightly below par. I think really you got to pick the winners to have anything to shout about. And I did previously, but not for this World Cup. I got it wrong. I said Brazil, and I have to accept that. I'm happy that I said Brazil or Argentina would win, but it's not enough, Spen. It's not enough. You've got to do better come the next Euros and come the next World Cup. But that is it for this World Cup. I hope you've enjoyed the content we've made. Let me know, now you've seen the World Cup finish and you're not going after my predictions before the things happened, how you think I did in the comments below. I don't think I've improved my predictions reputation. I've got some work to do. Speaking of which, I'm going to be doing a Premier League updated predictions for the second half of the season later this week, so keep an eye out for that. Drop a like on the video if you've enjoyed it. Subscribe for more. Until next time, don't go changing.